Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Extension and Development Studies, SOEDS, Certificate Programs. Certificate Program in Value Education, CPVE Beds 002 Socio-Psychological Basis. Block-1 Self-Development. Unit-1 Physical Development. 1. Introduction. The process of self-development is a complex process. It is the process of developing a well-balanced personality. Such personality is an integrated form of all-round development. The components of this development are at 4 levels. The first and fundamental stage is physical development. Physical development gives structure, form and functions to the human body, and so physical development becomes the core of the personality development. Physical development includes changes in the body, in the brain, muscles, sense organs, bones and so on, and in ways an individual uses a/her body, e.g., motor development, emotional development, social development, intellectual development, and spiritual development are all based on physical development. In this unit, we shall highlight various factors responsible for growth, fundamental features of prenatal development, stages of functional development, physical development and various stages after birth, needs of the children, and discuss the importance of education on physical development. 1.2 Objectives. After reading this unit, you should be able to identify various factors responsible for growth. 6. Highlight fundamental features of prenatal development. State the stages of functional development. 6. Discuss important features of physical development at various stages. Discuss the needs of children according to their physical development. Discuss the importance of education on physical development. 1.3 Growth factors. Development is a complex process. Certain growth factors make physical development fast or slow, and they are as follows. Heredity. Heredity is the passing on characteristics from one generation to the next. It is the reason why offspring look like their parents. It also explains why cats always give birth to kittens and never puppies. The process of heredity occurs among all living things including animals, plants, bacteria, and fungi. The study of heredity is called genetics, and scientists that study heredity are called geneticists. Through heredity, living things inherit traits from their parents. Traits are physical characteristics. You resemble your parents because you inherited your hair and skin color, nose shape, height, and other traits from them. Cells are the basic unit of structure and function of all living things. Biochemical structures inside each cell, called genes, carry traits from one generation to the next. Genes are carried on chromosomes in the cell nucleus. Genes control hereditary characteristics, e.g., color of skin, eyes or mental qualities. Environment, this refers to objects or conditions surrounding a person. It includes types of family members, peer groups and community around. Seaside, high hills, deserts or plains, influence one's physical development. Children are highly vulnerable to the negative health consequences associated with many environmental exposures. Children receive proportionately larger doses of environmental toxicants than adults, and the fact that their organs and tissues are rapidly developing make them particularly susceptible to chemical insults. Research in children's health looks at the effects of air pollution on respiratory diseases such as allergies and asthma, the impact of lead, mercury, and other environmental contaminants on cognitive development and behavior, and the influence of prenatal and early life exposures on growth and development. Food, such materials which are rich in or short of nutrients also affect growth and development. Our body needs food to provide us with the nutrients for energy to work and play. We also need food for growth, and to repair and replace worn out and damaged body parts. Food helps the cells of our body to do their functions and work. A meal which contains the right amount of food, nutrients that our body needs is a balanced diet. Our body becomes physically healthy when we eat a balanced diet. Hormones, these are secreted by endocrine glands. Glands are pituitary, attached to brain, thyroid, base of neck, and the sex glands etc. Healthy glands quicken, grow /VTH. Exercise, games, sports, yoga, cycling and swimming etc. help in the growth and development. Cycling and swimming integrate and balance varied body functions. Sitting, erect, standing, walking, running and climbing the stairs are also forms of exercises. 1.4 Prenatal development. Prenatal development refers to the process in which a baby develops from a single cell after conception into an embryo and later a fetus. The average length of time for prenatal development to complete is 38 weeks from the date of conception. During this time, a single-celled zygote develops in a series of stages into a full-term baby. The three primary stages of prenatal development are the germinal stage, the embryonic stage, and the fetal stage. Germinal stage. The germinal stage begins with conception, when the sperm and egg cell unite in one of the two fallopian tubes. The fertilized egg, known as a zygote, then moves toward the uterus, a journey that can take up to a week to complete. Cell division begins approximately 24 to 36 hours after conception. It is one of semen-ovum fusion. The fertilized ovum, zygote, undergoes cell division as somatic, structure, and germ, organ, cells. The germinal stage begins with conception, when the sperm and egg cell unite in one of the two fallopian tubes. The fertilized egg, known as zygote, then moves toward the uterus, a journey that can take up to a week to complete. Cell division begins approximately 24 to 36 hours after conception. The cell division continues at a rapid rate and the cells then develop into what is known as a blastocyst. The blastocyst is made up of three layers: the ectoderm, which will become the skin and nervous system, the endoderm, which will become the digestive and respiratory systems, and the mesoderm, which will become the muscle and skeletal systems. Finally, the blastocyst arrives at the uterus and attached to the uterine wall, a process known as implantation takes place. There is no growth during the first 2 weeks and there is no supply of nourishment from the mother. Embryonic stage. The embryonic stage begins after implantation and continues until cell differentiation has been mostly completed. Structures important to the support of the embryo develop, including the placenta and umbilical cord. During this time, cells begin to differentiate into the various body systems. The basic outlines of the organ, body, and nervous systems are established. By the end of the embryonic stage, the beginnings of features such as fingers, eyes, mouth, and ears become visible. Embryonic development takes place by chemical action. Electric current, X-rays and chemical organizers help the embryo to develop. The process of differentiation takes place over a period of weeks with different structures forming simultaneously. Some of the major events that occur during the embryonic stage are as follows: illustration of prenatal development, from the 2-cell, or zygote, stage through the embryonic stage, in which the major body systems develop, to the fetal stage, during which the baby's brain develops and the body adds size and weight. By the end of the embryonic stage, all essential external and internal structures have been formed. The embryo is now referred to as a fetus. Fetus stage. Once cell differentiation is mostly complete, the embryo enters the next stage and becomes known as a fetus. Prenatal development is most dramatic during the fetal stage. The early body systems and structures established in the embryonic stage continue to develop. The neural tube develops into the brain and spinal cord and neurons form. Sex organs begin to appear during the 3rd month of gestation. The fetus continues to grow in both weight and length, although the majority of the physical growth occurs in the later stages of pregnancy. Fetus stage forms within 8 weeks and develops in size and cells, in the following order. A. Cephalocattle principle, from head to foot, involves control of body and Improvements in structure that start from head downwards. Child can lift head first by neck and only later by raising the chest. B. Proximodistal tendency means that the child develops from center to periphery. For example, backbone develops before the development of fingers. Nerves and muscles, 9th week onwards, this refers to sense organs as vision. 2nd week to postnatal, sense of smell, taste, hearing, pressure and touch that become functional in the embryo. Pre-birth the child is cushioned within the mother and sometimes kicks and discomfort and the mother has no control over it. There is separateness, coexisting with union. 1.5 Functional development. There are 3 stages of functional development and they are: motor development. This involves the movements that take place as prenatal heartbeat between 4th week to 18 weeks and intestinal movements that start from the 7th week onwards, swallowing and sneezing, 16 weeks, and pre-breathing movements, 1-8 weeks. Perinatal stage, just before and just after birth, is the separation of the child from the mother when the respiratory and circulatory independence develop. However, there is still dependence on mother for physical and psychological needs.
Postnatal. After birth, at this stage all activities of the body start functioning. Vision, 4 weeks, head balancing, 6 weeks, holding hands, 28 weeks. Sitting and crawling, 40 weeks, standing on feet, 12 months, uttering words, 8 months, urine and excretion control, 24 months. Waking is a physical. Talang is intellectual that depends on physical maturity and emotional relations, speech and sentences, 3 years, socialization, 5 years. Thus motor development involves both gross and fine motor skills. Gross motor skills involve large muscle movements. Between 1 and 4 years of age, gross motor skills fall into one of 3 areas: movement, using stairs, and play. Fine motor skills involve the small muscle movements of hands and fingers in coordination with the eyes. 1.5 Point to sensory development. It is through the senses that infants discover the world. Sensory development begins during gestation and continues throughout childhood. There are 7 sensory processes: taste, smell, touch, hearing, seeing, body position sense, and movement sensations. There is no sensation of pain before birth. The pressure and temperature reactions start during 8 weeks in fetus and severe sensory reaction or expression begins 1 month before birth. Breastsuckling is a reunion with mother and gives satisfaction and relief from anxiety. It facilitates deeper and regular breathing pattern, brings better blood supply to baby's face, develops facial muscles and imbibes auditory and visual stimuli in the mother. During the sensorimotor stage, an infant's knowledge of the world is limited only to sensory perceptions and motor activities. Children utilize skills and abilities they are born with, such as looking, sucking, grasping, and listening, and learning more about the environment. 1.5.3 Cognitive development. Cognitive abilities allow us to process the sensory information we collect. These include the ability to analyze, evaluate, retain information, recall experiences, make comparisons, and determine action. The cognitive stage occurs between ages 2 and 6. Language development is one of the hallmarks of this period. During this stage, children become increasingly adept at using symbols, as evidenced by the increase in playing and pretending. For example, a child is able to use an object to represent something else, such as pretending a broom as a horse. Role-playing also becomes important during the preoperational Stage. Children often play the roles of mummy, daddy, doctor, and many others. Reasoning develops around this age as children begin to understand words. Understanding begins to shine through a child's eyes as he/she approaches 4 and 5 years of age, and he/she recognizes pictures, concepts, and colors in books. 1. 6. Eugenics. It is the science of improving the hereditary qualities of the progeny or descendants. The term is derived from the Greek word eu means good and genes means parentage, and it was coined by Francis Galton in 1883. It is achieved by control of mating or careful parenting. Eugenics eventually referred to human selective reproduction with intent to create children with desirable traits, generally through the approach of influencing differential birth rates. These policies were mostly divided into two categories: positive eugenics, the increased reproduction of those seen to have advantageous hereditary traits, and negative eugenics, the discouragement of reproduction by those with hereditary traits perceived as poor. By this time, you have come to know that the development of personality starts right from the time of conception or pregnancy. The development of feelings at the prenatal stage depends on the feelings of the mother. India was the world's pioneer in practicing social human eugenics. Rig Veda and Atharva Veda contain hymns about fertilization in one ancient treatise on the subject named as Garbhopanishad. 1.7 Stages of development. Psychologists and scholars differ as regards the stages and age of development. Each stage of development has some distinguishing features of its own stage and has its own problems with its characteristic features. Broadly, there are 4 stages of development: infancy, early childhood, middle childhood, and adolescence. The definitions of these stages are organized around the primary tasks of development in each stage, though the boundaries of these stages are malleable. Society's ideas about childhood have shifted over time, and research has led to new understandings of the development that takes place in each stage. T. 1.7.1 Infancy. The newborn infant has several distinctive physical characteristics. He/she is covered with lanugo and vernix and has several soft spots on his/her head which eventually grow over with the bone. The brain grows rapidly during infancy. The infant shows preference for sweet liquids. All senses develop rapidly. Infants are born with a number of physically useful reflexes. Motor skills appear during the first year of infancy. These include reaching, crawling, and walking. Infants need more protein and calories than children do. Breastfeeding provides immunity to illness as it is nutritionally complete. It helps develop muscles in jaw and mouth and also promotes a positive relationship with mother. 1.7.2 Early childhood. Between age 2 and 6, growth slows down a little and the child takes on more adult bodily proportions. However, the growth is smooth. Brain develops new fibers and myelin sheaths. Hemispheric lateralization in certain mental and motor functions takes place. Children at this stage acquire many the mental motor skills, like walking, running, hopping, catching, climbing, throwing, and so on. Boys and girls differ only slightly in growth and motor performance during the preschool period. Early childhood, birth to 8 years. Early childhood is a time of tremendous growth across all areas of development. The dependent newborn grows into a young person who takes care of his or her own body and interacts effectively with others. For these reasons, the primary developmental task of this stage is skill development. 1.7.2.1 Characteristics. Physically, between birth and age 3, a child typically doubles in height and quadruples in weight. Mastery of many skills, including sitting, WHG, toilet hiring, using a spoon, scribbling, and sufficient hand-eye coordination to catch and throw a ball are achieved during this stage. Between 3 and 5 years of age, children continue to grow rapidly and begin to develop fine motor skills. By age 5, most children demonstrate fairly good control of pencils, crayons, and scissors. Gross motor accomplishments may include the ability to skip and balance on one foot. Physical growth slows down between 5 and 8 years of age, while body proportions and motor skills become more refined. 1.7.2.2 Language development. Physical changes in early childhood are accompanied by rapid changes in the child's cognitive and language development. From the moment they are born, children use all their senses to respond to their environment, and they begin to develop a sense of cause and effect from their actions and the responses of caregivers. Over the first 3 years of life, children develop a spoken vocabulary between 300 and 1,000 words, and they are able to use language to learn about and describe the world around them. Language is a powerful tool to enhance cognitive development. Using language allows a child to communicate with others and solve problems. By age 8, children are able to demonstrate some basic understanding of less concrete concepts, including time and money. The time from birth to 8 years is a critical period in the development of many foundational skills in all areas of development. For example, earlier detection of hearing deficits sometimes leads to correction of problems before serious language impairments. 1.7.3 Middle childhood. Middle childhood brings many changes to a child's life. By this time, children can dress themselves, catch a ball more easily with only their hands, and tie their shoes. Developing independence from family becomes more important now. Friendships become more and more important. Physical, social, and mental skills develop rapidly at this time. This is a critical time for children to develop confidence in all areas of life, such as through friends, schoolwork, and sports. During this period, children refine a wide range of motor skills. The improvement is noted in terms of coordination and timing. They are relatively healthy. The most noted medical problems are tooth decay. The children at this stage are highly energetic and active. Recent theorists have recognized the importance of middle childhood for the development of cognitive skills, personality, motivation, and interpersonal relationships. 1.7.3.1 Characteristics. During middle childhood, children learn the values of their societies. Thus, the primary developmental task of middle childhood could be called integration, both in terms of development within the individual and of the individual within the social context. Physical development during middle childhood is less dramatic than in early childhood or adolescence. Growth is slow and steady until the onset of puberty, when individuals begin to develop at a much quicker pace. Middle childhood is a time when children gain enthusiasm for learning and work for achievement becomes a motivating factor at this stage. Middle childhood is also a time when children develop competence in interpersonal and social relationships. Children have a growing P orientation. yet they are strongly influenced by their family. The social skills learned through peer and family relationships provide a necessary foundation for the challenges of adolescence. Best friends are important at this age. Middle childhood is a joyful time of increased independence and developing interests such as sports, art, or music. Those students who successfully meet the academic challenges during this period go on to do well, while those who fail to build the necessary skills may fall further behind in later grades. Thus, there is more pressure on schools to recognize problems in 8 to 11-year-olds and to teach children the social and life skills that will help them continue to develop into healthy adolescents. 1.7.4 Adolescence, 12 to 18 years. Adolescence is a period of transition between childhood to adulthood. It is a period when rapid physiological changes and demands for new social roles take place. The adolescents, due to these changes, often face a number of crises and dilemmas. Adolescence is considered to start with the onset of puberty. Puberty is defined as a period of transformation from a stage of reproductive immaturity to stage of full reproductive competence. It is the period when the child moves from dependency to autonomy. It is a period demanding significant adjustment to the physical and social changes which distinguish childhood behavior from adult behavior. 1.7.4.1 Physical characteristics. The physical characteristics during adolescence are manifested by increase in height, development of body muscles, broadening of hips and shoulders, change of voice, changes in sex organs, and other related psychological changes. Adolescence is a time of rapid growth and inconsistent change that varies widely among individuals. Social and emotional growth, including awareness of others, social consciousness, personal identity, peer bonding, separation family, intense emotions, sexual interest towards the opposite sex, and love for experimentation are common. As regards the physical needs required during the period of adolescence, they are sufficient nutrition for physical development, superfluous energy for creative and useful outlets, proper sex knowledge and its channelization, security and understanding from elders, and buoyant spirit of adventure through well-planned and well-directed action. 1.8 Education and physical development. The program of physical growth and development should be properly organized. It should be carried out in classroom and playground both. A well-developed physical education program can generate health, happiness, and efficiency and human values. 1.8.1 School and health. Physical development may take the following shape in school. Subject teaching may be directly linked with examples leading to good health. And physique lessons on lifestyle and health may be taught to children. Right postures should be stressed for sitting, standing, and walking, and the ill effects of bad postures can be explained to children with illustrations. Proper seating and lighting arrangements must be cared for. The maintenance of a green environment by planting trees and developing school gardens may be practically done. Physical exercises and games should be provided for each child. Periodical medical examination and counseling should be done. Training in usefully productive work and dignity of labor should be duly arranged. Co-curricular activities and projects on cleanliness can be very useful. 1.9 Let us sum up. There are different stages of development: infancy, early childhood, middle childhood, and adolescence. The definitions of these stages are organized around the primary tasks of development in each stage, though the boundaries of these stages are malleable. Between 3 and 5 years of age, children continue to grow rapidly and begin to develop fine motor skills. Physical changes in early childhood are accompanied by rapid changes in the child's cognitive and language development. From age 3 to 5, growth in socio-emotional skills includes the formation of peer relationships, gender identification, and the development of a sense of right and wrong. Between ages 5 and 8, children enter into a broader peer context and develop enduring friendships. By age 8, children are able to demonstrate some basic understand of less concrete concepts, including time and money. Recent theorists have recognized the importance of middle childhood for the development of cognitive skills, personality, motivation, and interpersonal relationships. During middle childhood, children learn the values of their societies. Middle childhood is a time when children can gain enthusiasm for learning and work for achievement can become a motivating factor as children work toward building competence and self-esteem. Middle childhood is also a time when children develop competence in interpersonal and social relationships. The social skills learned through peer and family relationships and children's increasing ability to participate in meaningful interpersonal communication provide a necessary foundation for the challenges of adolescence. During adolescence, one undergoes active mental maturity since an adolescent becomes capable of inward and abstract mode of thinking and the capacity of receiving new information reaches its peak. Persistent arguing and a pretended wisdom are characteristic features of adolescence. What the adolescent needs by the end of this stage is to find out what sort of person he or she is and what is her abilities and limitations are. Therefore, the period of adolescence can be called the period of readjustment. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.